Hello, we are here with Adrianna Noone.
Hello.
On our Drumroll podcast, Volume 2.
Thanks for having me. Hello.
Absolutely. And we are also joined by your pup, Juniper.
Yeah, this is my June dog.
So, tell us a little bit about what type of music you perform and how you came up.
So I perform like singer-songwriter, indie folk, I guess a little Americana. I feel like it's kind of hard to have one, sure genre. I feel like they're all kind of, they meet in the middle somewhere. They all blend together. But yeah, I started, I don't know, I think I watched like Beauty and the Beast when I was 2 or 3 or something, and I was obsessed with the soundtrack. And so I would always sing along to it, and I would give my whole family characters to be. I was always Belle, of course. But yeah, and then I watched American Idol. I think that came out also when I was really young, and I just always had this, this dream of being on the show or of doing that, when I got older. So that's kind of where that started. And then, I was in musicals, which wasn't really my thing, but I was in those, and then I started taking voice lessons, and then I went to college for music.
Where did you go?
I went to Belmont University in Nashville for a year, and I went for a commercial voice performance, which is basically just contemporary. But it wasn't really my jam, so then I transferred to SUNY Purchase, which is like just above New York City. And so there I went into the Jazz Conservatory for voice. And then I love to be busy, I guess. And so I was like, this is nice, but I also like to do other things. So then I tried to double major in journalism. And then in the end, you really can't double major with a conservatory because it's so, the classes are so strict. Anyhoodle, so I ended up graduating it with a journalism degree and a jazz minor.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, which of your degrees have you found to be more? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right? Absolutely neither. I'm like, my second one should have at least been, my second interest could have been something a little more, useful. I do still use the journalism because, in writing for songs and in, posts on social media, editing things and grammar, so that comes in handy, I guess, but not really.
No, that makes sense.
Terrible.
So you kind of described this broad genre base that you cover. How did you find that sound? Was it just a natural, this is how it's come to you, or did you really focus on honing this specific space?
No, that's so interesting because I used to listen to, when I was young, right? Let's go back to 3 years old. I think it might have been 2. My favorite song was Getting Jiggy With It, Will Smith. Okay, would you find me listening to that genre now? Not as much, but I loved it when I was a kid. And then I was super into 50 Cent and Eminem. And that was also at an inappropriate age in my life. And then, then I started to get into Florence and the Machine. And then from there, I loved Sarah Bareilles and of course Adele. And then I was listening to a lot of the radio, Top 40. But I think when I found Florence and the Machine, I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I find a lot of songs I like, they're usually, slower and emotional. I find a lot of them on shows and movies. And commercials, and then your Discover Weekly on your music platforms gives you other ideas, but I think when I found Feist in a commercial, she did that 1, 2, 3, 4, and so then I found other artists like her from there, and that's what I really love listening to. But I think, and also when I write, it's kind of maybe more like that genre. But like I was just writing something the other day and I'm like, okay, this sounds like a Sarah Bareilles song though. I mean, not, she's great, but like, it sounds like not as good as hers, but like a top, not top 40, but like more of a pop. And then I was like, what am I doing? And can I do that if that's not what all my other songs are? But yeah, no, I do, I write songs that just kind of come to me, I guess, in the style that I like to listen to. And I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, so it has been a little hard as well. But yeah, it's nothing I picked. It's just kind of like what I like and what feels most natural to me. Although I would love to, get all the crowds pumping and do some, some top 40, but it's just not my thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Which I have to stay true to. So.
Cool. That makes a lot of sense. And I think that a lot of musicians struggle to balance what they're interested in doing and what would be good for their brand.
Yeah, I know. My mom's always like, why don't you try something like, and I'm like, yeah, I could, but like, I don't even think that I would do it justice because it's just not what I do. You know what I mean? Like, anyway, but that is a daily struggle of mine. So that's why that answer was so long and I could talk about it for forever because it truly is a daily struggle where I'm like, it's just this. I do what I do, I guess, and I always love to see shows like that. So there's got to be some type of audience out there for it.
Well, there's certainly a base for it because you're going on tour this spring.
Yes, exciting.
Very
exciting. So yeah, that's in February. I think I've been saying. By the way, I think I've been saying it wrong. The month wrong. February. But when I say it fast, I feel like
February.
The right way to say it is February. So I've been trying
That's
so
how it's
hard.
spelled.
It is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that was something else that I've been thinking about lately. I'm like, God, I keep saying February. But anyway, I'm not sure. But yes, I'm going on tour in that month.
That's really exciting. And you're going to be going down to Folk Alliance.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about this tour and who you're going with and kind of what the trajectory of that is.
Cool. So I'm going on tour with this Australian artist, Anna Smirk. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce her name. Okay. But yeah, I was talking with some people at Black Oak Artists, and so they kind of set it up. I'm not, part of their, I hope to be one day, but they set it up, and that was really cool of them. So Anna is one of their artists, and so we're going to be starting in kind of the New England area, and then we'll end up in Kansas City for the Folk Alliance conference, and I'm super excited about it. I've never really gone on a straight up legit tour like that. So it'll be interesting. I'm excited, and yeah, we're hitting all different kinds of areas. But what else can I say about it? I don't know. It'll be different. I'm really excited, and I've never toured with with Chuck and Jeremy and Chris, so that'll be fun. But yeah, the Folk Alliance, I've never been, so I don't really know what to expect. But I hear that I know I'm playing one show, one private showcase, if you will, and it's in hotel rooms, and it's in the wee hours of the morning. The last one ends at 3 a.m. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've made it out that late, but we'll see.
That's a surprise.
Yeah.
I was imagining it being a conference at a conference center, honestly.
So I guess it is in a hotel, and so they're in the ballroom and stuff is where the official showcases happen, and I guess there's industry people there, and those are during regular hours, I would call them. And then there's the private showcases, which are in the hotel rooms. And so I guess different kind of companies or organizations can buy those rooms out and put on little shows in there. So I'll be playing in one of Black Oak Artists' rooms with other musicians, and you get this small little time slot in this little hotel room. But they say that it's like packed, like no matter what the time is, although it may be real late or real early in the morning, depending on what way you look at it. I guess it's poppin'. I don't know. So I'm excited. I have no idea what to expect. That's just what I've heard.
So the tour is like 3 weeks long, it seems.
Yes.
So what are you looking forward to most about having this kind of inaugural touring experience?
Well, I'm looking forward to just playing the shows. I feel like that's always the best part is, playing your songs for people who may not have ever heard you, and hoping that people like what they hear. And that's also the most nerve-wracking part. But yeah, I always think that every show is so special because there will never be the same show again, like the same people won't be there no matter, even if you're in the same venue, right? Like the same people won't be there, and not every song is going to be played the exact same way. It's just always a special moment when you play live. So yeah, I look forward to that, just playing and it's still always fun. A little road trip. A little road trip's always fun. So I just look forward to seeing new areas and playing for new faces, and I hope that they like what they hear.
Cool. That's really exciting.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you have a band and you also have a solo act.
Yes.
So would you tell us a little bit about your current band?
Yes, my current band is made up of Chris Govan on the bass guitar, Jeremy Grace on the guitar, and Chuck Salvaggio on the drums, and hopefully a fiddle player, which I don't know. I'll throw his name out there. Chris Murphy, if you're listening, I hope you'll be my fiddle player. He's so good, and it adds so much. I love it. I've always wanted like a fiddle player or a horn or something. Yeah. So he played a show with us at Abilene like a month ago, and it was real cool. But any hoodle, so that's my band, and yeah, I think that they're all from out here in Geneseo. Not sure about Chris. I know. Anyway, now he lives in Ontario, Ontario County. But yeah, I'm really excited to go on the road with them. And my solo thing, I don't do as often, because honestly, it's scary. It's real scary to be up there by yourself. But that's that's something I'm working at too. So if ever I am needed solo, I can do it.
Cool. So you kind of mentioned that you write your own music and you spend time, like you've clearly invested a lot of time in it. So would you tell us a little bit about the types of music, like songs that you write, as well as what gets you to write a song?
Honestly, it changes all the time. Sometimes I could go forever, not forever, but months without writing anything, and then other times I'm like, oh, and I just have an idea. One time I wrote Words for War in the shower. I was in the shower and I was like, da, 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 and whatever the line was, I was humming it, and I was like, oh my god, and I swear I have the worst memory ever. So I'm like, I just kept trying to, like the whole shower, I'm like speeding through, I'm like trying to just sing it over and over in my head. It kind of just depends, like it comes to me, and a lot of times I will sit there though and actually try to write something because I'm like, oh god, I need new things. So sometimes I do sit there and try, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but usually I start with like an idea, or I just play something on the guitar and I, start humming something, and I go from there. But it's almost different every time. It's kind of just what comes to me. I try not to push anything, or else I hate what I do, what it comes out to be.
Yeah, it's gotta be organic.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So when you play out, do you mostly play originals?
Yes, I play a lot of originals at this point, and I always sprinkle in covers, Mm-hmm. So there's hopefully always, a song or two that people know. But yeah, I think a lot of places that I play right now, they covers are always wanted too. But yeah, luckily I have enough songs now where I could play a show without originals, but I try to give something for people to recognize,
Yeah.
So.
Have you found that you've been able to cultivate a follower base who's starting to like recognize your band and your music?
I think so. I hope so. I don't know. I think my Instagram followers don't really drop now when I post. You know how sometimes you post something and like it might go down and I'm like, what?
The people from high school realize that they're still following you.
Right. I'm like, oh God, my heart. But no, I think that I think it's a pretty steady following. I've seen, many familiar faces at different shows, which always is the best, because it means that people actually liked you enough to come back out. It's so hard to, I feel like nowadays people don't always commit to much or, as often, and it's hard for people to get out of the house, especially in the winter, so when people return to my shows, that's really cool. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you've kind of developed your own act in your own band, you've probably come to have preferences as far as like what types of spaces you're playing and what types of events, and you've certainly blossomed and performed at the Lilac Festival and things like that.
Yeah.
So what have some of those like highlight performance opportunities been for you?
Oh, the Lilac Fest is cool. Party in the Park was cool. Just because it's, it's things that in Rochester that everybody loves going to. And that I grew up, loving going to. So those are some top ones. I played at Babeville. I opened for Chris Trapper one time at Babeville in Buffalo, and that's cool because it's Ani DeFranco's place. But in the downstairs area. Yeah, those are some highlights. And I sang one time with Brandi Carlile, which I will just say until the day that I die, because that truly was something that I never even dreamed of. But anyway, those are some highlights.
Cool. So moving on to your Brandi Carlile performance opportunity as well as your Lyle Lovett experience, how did you find yourself how did you secure those opportunities?
So the Brandi Carlile thing was I saw a post on Instagram that was like, hey, we have this festival. And she puts on a couple of festivals. And she was like, the post said that, you could submit a video of you singing a song of hers and that they'll pick people to sing with her and her band at the festival. And so I entered it, and I didn't even have a ticket, which you were supposed to have a ticket in order to enter the thing. But I was like, if I got chosen, I would definitely go. So I was chosen, and I had to find the money to pay for tickets within 2 weeks. So that was an expensive little trip to Florida, but it was a good time. It was well worth it. And then Lyle Lovett, that guy is so sweet. That was Iggy Marino. He and I did that show that opened for him at Point of the Bluffs in Hammondsport, and that was a great time too. Just such a nice band, and what a nice guy. And after, he was, so sweet. So that was a really cool moment too. But yeah, that's that one. They were both great. They were both really good, really fun times. I hope for more times like that. But yeah, to open for an icon like that was really cool. So, very grateful.
Yeah, absolutely. I would imagine that would be a very surreal moment after being a musician your whole life.
Yeah.
Hoping to be able to perform, finally making it to the performance status, and then meeting your heroes.
Yeah. And they were nice.
Yeah.
Which, sometimes you just never know, and you're like, oh, you always hope that, these people that you look up to will be as nice as you as you hope or as they seem. And they were. Anyway.
Bonus.
But yeah.
That's awesome. Do you have your eye on any opportunities like that in the future?
Well, let's see. I send all of my things to you to book for me. Sarah sends emails out to different venues for me. That's very nice. Yeah, what did we send out?
We've done a whole bunch. Got our eye on Garden Vibes at the Eastman House this summer, which is really exciting. First submission.
Yeah, I was driving by there one day and in the summer, and I was like, what is this? Like, so many people, and it was advertising this Garden Vibes concert, and I'm like, huh? Anyway, I don't know if that was the first year they had done it or what, but so that one would be cool. I don't know, I love shooting for the moon, so I sent Sarah like, hey, can you try to see if I could open for Bob Dylan? And she's like, sure, I mean, yeah, let's do it. I mean, why not? So that's pretty much my motto, is I'm like, let's send out the most ridiculous emails to,
you gotta shoot
just,
you gotta be in it to win it.
Yeah, like Adele. I'm like, you think Adele needs an opener for? You're like, I guess maybe.
Yeah. We tried for the Indigo Girls.
The Indigo Girls, yeah. I was like, cause why not?
Yeah.
And then one of their openers got sick one day. I'm like, now see, you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I think just some festivals would be cool in the summer. So looking at that and looking at I don't know. Yeah, more opening spots. My eyes are always peeled. The Dan Smalls shows.
Yeah. Ithaca.
I hope that man throws me a bone one day.
It'll happen.
It'll
happen. You gotta be in it to win it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, why not?
That's been what we've been going for.
Yep. So, I don't know. But yeah, I keep my eyes peeled, so you never know. But hopefully just more festivals and cities. The Song Suffragettes, I heard about them. I sent them an inquiry. Kind of like a singer-songwriter, round. But yeah, they have those in a couple locations, so
okay.
I don't know.
Fingers crossed.
Every day I try to send something wild and different out, so we'll see.
It's a good aspiration.
Yeah.
Cool. What is your so far kind of like ideal performance space and opportunity? Because there are all kinds of rooms.
Yes.
And outdoor stages.
Yes.
So have you found that there's a place where you really hit your stride?
I had a great time playing at Essex. I opened for Marty O'Reilly, and that venue is real cool. New in Rochester. Danielle Ponder was the first person to play there. And it's cool to have like a music hall space like that in Rochester, because that exact venue is always, those are always the kinds of places that I travel to see artists that I like. So their space is real great and the sound is awesome. So yeah, I think that where my music would fit best is, the music halls. Okay, June, I'll let you go. So, I guess just hopefully more music halls. I don't know. I think that they tend to be, or they could be a little bit more listening room-ish. And that's what Essex made theirs that night, which was really nice. It was like a seated event, but so yeah, hopefully just, more music halls. That's where I always saw myself, It's sometimes, and it's of course hard to get there, but, sometimes like the busier bars are hard to capture an audience when you're singing like, more of the genre that I do. But hopefully I'll find a way to work my way up there.
Yeah. So you've also, in addition to doing a bunch of live performance experiences, you also have some recorded music.
Yes.
So what has the process of, as an independent artist, going through the process of recording? Well, were you an independent artist when you recorded?
So I did kind of a mixture. Here. I was trying to find what worked. So I I used to record some songs, and that was, I think my older stuff is just, you know, like I wasn't with the band yet. And then I had my, I guess, Honey is out there, and that's been since I've been with the band. And what else? Lies. So Lies I did totally by myself. I think it really is just myself and myself playing the keys. And that, so there's that one out there. I haven't really been able to complete like a full one with the band, just because it's so, I guess, kind of like tedious. Like there's so many moving parts, and we're all so busy. Like it's been hard to kind of make that happen. But we've given it some tries, you know. So I'm still working on that. But I have a song that hopefully is coming out in the beginning of 2024. And that. So you can look out for that, I guess. Sorry, my brain hurts. I don't know. Sorry, I just like short-circuited. Anyway, I haven't really had my coffee yet. But, and it's like, well, noon. Okay, anywho. So, yes, I have some songs out there. They haven't, I don't think any of them, maybe Honey is with the band. I'm pretty sure Honey is fully with the band. But yeah. The new song it is not, the band did not record on it. But there's that coming.
That's really exciting.
My brain hurts.
Yeah.
I didn't prepare that.
That's it?
I didn't prepare any of this, but I definitely didn't prepare that. I was like, oh god, numbers, songs, who was on what, and when did I do it? But yeah.
That's crazy.
And some of the songs on there are with Public Water Supply, and those ones like that show up on my Spotify as well, so if you go on it you'll see that. So those 3 that show up on mine as well as theirs, those ones are with, of course, the full band of Public Water Supply. But yes, anywho,
cool.
I think I covered that.
So what have the biggest challenges throughout your music career been?
Biggest challenges. Well, I think I've always had the drive to play out, and I've always wanted to. And I found that, you know, if there was ever like a place to play, or like an open mic or anything, or I would always have to basically have a karaoke track.
Yeah.
Or I'd have to like ask I love her, the accompanist at my high school at the time. She would help me a lot, and she'd be like, yeah, I'll play for you with whatever you have. So like I'd have to call on her, and she was always so helpful. But eventually I was like, okay, this is crazy. I have to learn how to play an instrument, because I gotta get by at least, you know, so I can do a gig on the fly. And so then I started taking up guitar and learning guitar, and piano.
Cool.
So that I overcame that obstacle, because it was getting real awkward singing to karaoke tracks or a cappella. Sometimes I would do that. Don't know why.
It's a very vulnerable place to put yourself.
Sure was, but boy did I go for it. I'm like, why did anybody let me do that? Like, I would be, no.
You gotta crack a lot of eggs to make an omelet.
Right. So, so yeah, there was that. And then, you know, it's always I feel like my biggest thing right now is just finding the right venues, like the right venues for what I do. Oh, Sarah, yes, you like Sarah.
Hello, lady.
I feel like that's just the hardest part now, you know, is, you know, and also kind of, you know, continuing to like gain a following. Because of course, wherever you play, people want to know, you know, how many people can you bring, and I'm like, well, honey, this is Nebraska. Like, I don't know anybody in Nebraska, you know what I mean? But I don't know if I should tell them that, but...
Gotta start somewhere.
Right. But, so, you know, I think a lot of it is, you know, some people just take a chance on you, which, you know, is always nice. But yeah, I think the hardest part is you know, continuing to gain people who want to come see you, and keeping people's attention and finding the right venues. You know, I think it's hard enough to find venues because there's so many great musicians and so many places that have music every night, just even in Rochester alone. But I think it's, you know, it's finding the right places where people, you know, like what you do rather than like, you know, it being rowdy and they want to hear top 40.
Cool. Do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share before we close out here?
Yeah, I'm super excited for what's to come. I think, you know, you and I are sending out some wild emails, and that's always a good time, and maybe something comes from it. I think it's Lady Gaga who said there could be 100 people in a room. Didn't she?
Yes.
Anyway, I don't remember the rest
I
of it.
think so.
But, yeah, remember Lady Gaga was like, there could be 100 people in a room, and all it takes is for one to believe in you. And then she's like, and Bradley Cooper was my one. You remember that?
I don't think
A
so.
Star is Born.
Oh, I haven't seen A Star is Born.
Oh my god. Anyway. But yes, she said that, and she was like, anywho. And then what?
Cool.
I think Harry Connick Jr. was like, you know, for every 10 no's, there'll be one yes. So that's my motto for this year, you know. I hope that, you know, I've been doing a lot more writing, and I'm going to be doing more recording. I already have the one that I think just needs to be kind of mastered and mixed, if you will. But yeah, I think, so, you know, just more new fun stuff coming in 2024. Yeah, hopefully you see me around. I think I might be getting like a regular kind of stint in Buffalo, a once a month gig out there. And yeah,
That's
we'll
really
see
exciting.
what happens.
Well,
But
thank you so much, Adrianna.
thank you. And if you're listening, and you're anywhere from here to Kansas City, come on out. It'll be a good time.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, and we cannot wait to see what happens.
Thank you, and thank you to Drumroll. I'll be here New Year's Eve.
Perfect. And if you're just tuning in, this is Adrianna Noone on the Drumroll podcast.
Thanks for having me.